Good morning. Welcome to Concerned Citizens Media. Uh, I don't have the news for tonight, but uh, I heard that uh, Johar Mohammed is allowed to visit his personal doctor. This is a good news. They denied him uh, for a few days if they allow him to see his personal doctor, which is good. They denied he he was not no he's not sick, but now they they say it's okay to see his personal doctor. So these people they lie. So that's the good news. The other thing is the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission criticized about the excessive force used against protesters in Oromia uh, region. Uh, Mr. Getachew Balcha, this guy is the Oromia Region Communication Bureau head, and you may know him. He is always uh, giving wrong information, lying about what's going on in Oromia, denying, about Qeeroos action. But thanks to other medias like BBC, VOA, they challenged it. So the Ethiopian Human Rights Watch also got some evidence about the excessive force used by military, federal police, and documented that, exposed it to the media. So this liar, Getachew Pulcha, he say, he was not happy about this, and he blamed the Human Rights Watch. Uh, uh, they don't want any negative news to come out. They want to hide their crimes. They have been hiding their crimes for the last 27 years when they were working under TPLF. In the same way, because they learned from TPLF, they want to deny. They learned from Getachew Radda. If you remember, he was a communication uh, for TPLF. He was always on the media denying everything until the last minute. These people, we don't expect them to tell us the truth, but the truth will come out one day. They will lie until the last minute, until they will be removed from power. But people are dying in Oromia. It is a fact. It's on the media, social media, on BBC, Afan Oromo, and other news. Okay. I will come up with other news next time, but I have statement ready about one exemplary action carried out by uh, Qeeroos and Qarrees uh, in Minnesota, and one is happening now in London, UK, United Kingdom. This is good. This is good. The Minnesota is special. The Minnesota, they stage a camping style for a longer days, day and the night, at Ethiopian embassy or consulate in Minneapolis, Minnesota. They, uh, they're asking, demanding the embassy to give them answer for what's going on in Oromia, why Oromos are dying, why Oromos are disrespected, why Oromo women are raped, why Oromo youngsters, young as 12 years old, killed in front of his friend, why older people are used as a practice, like practicing karates on older people by the military and by federal police. So Qeeroos in Minnesota, they started good strategy, now followed by London, even though the number is smaller than the one in Minnesota. The number should be rise up. Qeeroos and Qarrees and others should come out. It's a good strategy to challenge the embassies. The embassy is supposed to represent Ethiopians, or especially the Oromos, which are the majorities in that country, supposed to be respected and respect, and that's a good strategy to raise the voice for them, to be the voice for the voiceless, to stop the brutalities happening in Oromia against Qeeroos, Qarrees, just demonstrating peacefully, for asking, for freedom and justice, for the release of political prisoners, political leaders, So that strategy should be adopted by other Qeeroos and Qarrees and by all Oromos living in other Western countries, Germany, Canada, Australia, France. They have to, show up like what they did on the streets of these Western countries. Now they have to focus on embassies, Ethiopian embassies in these countries, on those, in these countries, and demand justice, demand change, demand election, demand the removal of the command posts from Oromia. What the command post is doing there: killing people, killing Oromos, torturing our women, killing senior citizens, like 80 years last time, 60, 63, 80 and 63 years, husband and wife in front of their house, killed brutally by the military. And the other guy also killed, and his body was thrown to the wild animals. Abagadas are disrespected. Oromos are disrespected. Oromos are expressing that they they thought they have the Oromos in the White House, Arat Kilo, but they say no. Oromos are in a bad shape at this time, worse than all the previous Ethiopian administration. Things are happening under Abiy Ahmed. He became brutal. He is shedding blood, the blood of Oromos, just to stay in power and to satisfy others. So protests on the streets of Western countries, yes, must continue, plus protest in front of embassies, Ethiopian embassies, German embassies, UK embassies, UN offices, European Union offices. We have to continue this resistance movement, this struggle, until credible, visible change happening in Oromia especially, and in Ethiopia in general. So, Qeeroos in diaspora, Qarrees and Oromos, please continue the pressure on Ethiopian government officials, Ethiopian government embassies, and other Western countries. You know, they have to speak up too. They are silent, really. I never seen this. I didn't see any statement from German. I didn't see any statement from France. I didn't see any statement from Canada, Australia. I heard some statement from, I think, Sweden parliament members, 2 parliament members, which is good. But I'm surprised nothing happening from the United States embassy in Ethiopia or from State Department about the killing of and about the killing, the torture, all happening in Oromia. I don't know why. I don't know why. So, as the citizens of this country or every other countries, please, we have to rise up, demand the things happening in Oromia to stop the bloodshed, and we have to keep the pressure. So we have to follow the Qeeroos in Minnesota and the Qeeroos in London. We have to see it in Italy. We have to see it in all European countries. We have to see it in Australia. We have to see it in Canada in next days, weeks. The pressure should continue. So the demand for the release of our Oromo political prisoners and all Oromo political prisoners and other Oromos, arrested in a mass and put in overcrowded jails, including schools, and exposing them to COVID-19. That's inhumane treatment. It is also a violation of international law. It's a crime, exposing people to disease. And World Health Organization have recommendation about the prison population, but Ethiopia is putting more people in prison. They are putting now people in schools. So this is wrong, and the whole world appreciated when they release the prisoners. Now Abiy, you want to stay power by putting Oromos back in the prisons that were empty. Now it's already filled up. He is using schools because he doesn't have any more space in prisons. So schools are being used as a prison. Schools supposed to be a place for education and developing children's mental capacity, but they are now used to spread COVID-19 and purposely expose them for the disease, punish them in that way for just to stay in power. So that must be exposed to the global communities. So demonstrators must continue in exposing the brutality of the Ethiopian military, the uh, federal and Oromia police plus the local militia. You know, they are in they they have taken shoot to kill order from Abiy Ahmed. So nothing is off the limit, as I reported yesterday. They are just killing anybody at any location, no place to survive. In the mosque, on the street, in your home, in their own home. They just kill them to silence them, so that the Bilsegna or Prosperity Party can continue governing Ethiopia by killing Oromos. So the bloodshed must be stopped, and it will be stopped by our strengths. And if you are weak, nobody respect you, nobody give you freedom, and the freedom will not be given by begging. It will be obtained through your resistance movement. You have to continue your fight. Keep doing this until freedom arrives. This is the resistance movement adopted by Qeeroos and Qarrees. And we all must continue, showing resistance until Abiy Ahmed is removed from that country, until peace and stability is established in Oromia and in Ethiopia in general. We have to continue. And they must also demand the election to be conducted or to be carried out in Ethiopia, so that people freely and fairly elect their representatives or their leaders. So we should, Qeeroos and Qarrees, we all should reject the Prosperity Party's COVID-19 and other excuses to remain in power. America will be holding its election in the coming November. Okay, I repeat, America will be holding its election in the coming November. And America doesn't have a cure for COVID-19. Okay? There is no excuse for postponing election. No. We are in the same situation. Prosperity Party is having their own meetings. They're doing their own things. But if somebody is you are violating the COVID-19 emergency rule. That is, shame, and is, using advantage of the situation. We see they're having various meetings. Prosperity meeting, Oromia Bilsegna Party meeting, Prosperity meeting, and Amara, they do. But when the others do, they are in violation. So this excuse must be rejected. Ethiopians, Oromos, Wolaytas, Amaras, Tigrians, we all must demand this excuse to be removed and the election to be held. If you don't unite on this matter, you will see Ethiopia will be heading toward dictatorship under Abiy Ahmed. It's just like Eritrea, because this guy is, as I said before, he is consulting with Eritrea how to crush the oppositions, how to put people in jail, how to kill even his own people for the sake of power. So we will be in a dictatorship if you don't unite and fight him, remove him, and demand free and fair election in that country. So wake up, everyone. Wake up. We don't want to have a dictatorship. We want, you know, freedom, justice, equality, you know, in Ethiopia. So we have to be careful, and we don't have to be divided. As I see it now, we are divided. Amaras, most of the Amaras are now supported him. Oromos rejected him. He is using force, you know, to crush them, put their leaders, put most of Oromo nationalists in jail, you know, threatening the Abagadas, those elders, you know, killing them, torturing them, putting the military command post in Oromia. All this is to crush them, so that here the Bloodshed or Prosperity Party will be the dominant political party in that country, with the help of mostly Amaras. So this is not good. Today, maybe Oromos. We don't know who will be next. So we don't have to watch something happening, you know, we don't have to watch silently for something wrong happening in other areas. It should be a warning for all of us, and we have to join together, demand justice and a free and fair election in that country. So when one is say up, the other should say also up. When the other say down, we all must say down. Up and down. That doesn't go in that way. We don't have to be in opposite direction. If we say Abiy must go, we have to speak with one voice, said Abiy must go. Now, some of us saying Abiy must go, the others say Abiy must stay in power. This divisive politics doesn't help to build Ethiopia for Ethiopians. It doesn't help Ethiopia to stay like Ethiopia. You know, especially when force is applied on the majority of ethnics in that country. We know that Oromos are the majority, and you cannot build Ethiopia by marginalizing Oromos, by killing Oromos, by forcing Oromos. You know, you cannot. You cannot. You may have some temporary victory, but that's not a lasting solution. I repeat. You know, you may get a temporary solution, but we don't need a temporary solution. We need a long-term solution for that country. To have a long-term solution, we have to speak with one voice without dividing Oromos, Amaras, Tigres, Walaitas, Gambellas, Somalians, Afars. We have to. If law and justice broken in Afar, we have to say against it. If law and justice broken in Oromia, we have to stand against it. The same with other areas in Amaras too. So we don't have to play dirty politics for temporary positions, which doesn't help us to live together, to build Ethiopia together. So we don't have to open a door for somebody to come up with force and claim Oromia. That will not be good for Ethiopia's existence and for those living in Oromia regions too. We have to avoid that. We have to speak one voice. We don't have to be silent. We see it, what's happening in Oromia. We all peace-loving citizens. We have to speak against it. When it is wrong, we have to say it is wrong, wherever it happens. Where it happens in Amara, Gambella, Somalia, Afar, Walaita, wherever it happens, if it is wrong, we have to stand against it. That is the only way we can build that country for all of us. Okay. So we have to demand the election. That's a very important thing. We have to reject this COVID-19 excuse. No, we have to say no. That will lead to dictatorship. And he postponed it indefinitely, but we can demand it to be conducted if we speak with one voice. If not, it's done. We'll be heading to dictatorship. TPLF, the Tigray People Liberation Front, is ready to hold election, and this will expose the central government unconstitutional extension of power. TPLF, they're going to show us that yes, we can do election, in a safe way, controlling COVID-19. At the same time, we can do the constitutionally required election. Yes, we can. Now they're going to show us. So the central government will be ashamed. So we should work on the common ground to speak for one voice. I said Ethiopia without Oromia is nothing. I repeat, Ethiopia without Oromia is nothing. If Oromia is out by some kind of means, there is no Ethiopia at all. There is no Ethiopia. So we don't want that to happen. So we have to speak with one voice to preserve Ethiopia. So all Ethiopians should speak up against the bloodshed happening in Oromia. And the same should happen, I'm just repeating myself, if something happened in Amara region, or Tigray, or Gambella, or Somalia, or other regions. We know that Abiy Ahmed is attempting to settle all legitimate concerns with guns. I repeat, we know that Abiy Ahmed is attempting to settle all legitimate concerns with guns. That approach must be rejected by all of us. It doesn't help us preserve the remaining Ethiopia's territory. Our protests and our resistance movement, whether it's happening back home or happening in the Western streets or other countries, it must be continue in a peaceful and effective ways. So we can express our concerns to all global communities until conditions improve in Ethiopia, especially in Oromia. So the Occupy embassies happening in United States and London should be followed by others living elsewhere. Occupy the embassies, demand the end of the bloodshed, demand elections in Ethiopia, demand the freedom of prisoners, justice for Hachalu. So shouting in the streets must also continue as another way of demanding justice and freedom for victims in Oromia region. as we have seen from previous demonstrators, especially the Oromo protesters in diaspora and back home, their demand is this: Abiy must go. 100% their demand. They see this guy is wrong. So their demand is Abiy must go. He is not good for holding Ethiopia for all of us. We don't want a leader totally depend on guns to silence citizens' legitimate concerns. That's why they're asking Abiy must resign, Abiy must go. And so he is not listening. He is not listening. He is doing more damage to his own people. We say he's Oromo, but he's doing more damage. He's ordering direct shoot to kill policies with mercilessly, brutally. It's already recorded in the last 3 days. You know, peaceful protesters murdered on the streets, murdered in a mosque, murdered at their home or neighborhoods just for expressing their freedom of protest, freedom of expression. So Abiy must go, and it could happen through election. It could happen through other means, just like Haile Mariam Desalegn. He resigned after public pressure in the diaspora and back home. He resigned. So I wish Abiy followed in the same footstep instead of killing and instead of doing more damage to Oromos. Using military, using federal police, using the militia, spending too much money on security, on the issues that can be resolved easily through negotiation, through abagadas, through Oromo traditions. But he just spending the money the country has. That money could be used to create job for millions, jobless youngsters walking around in Ethiopia cities and the towns. I was there last time. Millions in the capital city and the other towns, small towns. They're just wandering around, spending time in a coffee shops. So instead of helping these people to get job, they are putting money in the military, training more police force, training more militias, because they want to stay in power. They don't care about the people. They don't care about the security of the people. They don't care about the well-being of the people. If they care about these things, they don't put people in the overcrowded prisons. If they care about these people, they don't spend too much money on the military. Instead, they will spend on education, job creations, health services, and others. But what they care about, to stay 30 years, 60 years in power, or like a king. So let's rise up and do whatever we can to stop the brutalities happening in Oromia, Ethiopia. We cannot preserve and build Ethiopia by marginalizing Oromos from the process. This must be clear, and we all Ethiopians must understand this issue. You cannot preserve, you cannot build Ethiopia by marginalizing the majority ethnics in that country. They must be uh, allowed to play a major role in that country. They must be. We must understand that. We must not deny that. That's a reality. And denying it, and depending on the military force, depending on the federal police, depending on your jails, prisons, that's not a solution. I said these things are temporary solution. You want to preserve, build Ethiopia for all Ethiopians, you have to use different strategies. Don't be greedy about staying in power. So that is my message for today. And Qeeroos and Qarrees back home, continue your resistance peacefully. Don't throw stone, don't burn anything. Come out in a big number, stage like this. This is resistance. Just keep demanding change. Keep your pressure. Keep the pressure for for all those Oromo prisoners to come out from prison. For the command post to be removed from Oromia until you see respect in Oromia, respect for our senior citizens. We don't want the Abiy commandos to practice karates on our senior citizens. That is shame on them. They must stop that. They must stop killing our women, raping our women, killing youngsters. They must stop. I reported yesterday the condition in Mali. The Mali soldiers. They just removed the president. Because he was not able to change the living standard of the citizens of that country, and the security situations also, plus the corruption. So the soldiers, our soldiers, also must think in that way for the citizens of that country, instead of just accepting phone order from Abiy Ahmed and go around and kill the citizens. And they may be also brought to justice one day in international court or Ethiopian court if things change. So they must stop killing the citizens. They must think about their citizens. They must question the order. Is that order the right one, to kill a pregnant woman, to rape a woman, to kill 80 years old man? A woman with like 3 months baby, a man in a mosque. So the military should question the order. They have to question the order. They have to challenge the order coming from the Biltzegina party. So that is my message for today. I hope you guys will spread the message, share this message to Qeeroos around the globe, Qeeroos back home, and our resistance movement against Ethiopian embassies all over the globe must continue. Qeeroos back home, continue your resistance peacefully. Qeeroos in capital cities, around the capital cities, Adamas, Zuwai, Asalla, and other areas. Keep the pressure in a peaceful way. Don't give the excuse the military or the federal police to shoot you. I know they are holding you at home now with guns. They don't let you to come out. The guy, he say, hey, he's free to protest. This liar guy, Getachew Balcha, he say the peaceful way to protest is open. But he's lying. He's a liar. He's lying like Getachew Randa. So there is no peaceful way of protesting. They are holding citizens at home by deploying military forces, federal forces, everywhere. But I don't know how long it's going to continue. I hope change will come through election, through resistance movement, and we have to just hope, and we have to keep our movement. And thank you for listening concerning Citizens Media, and be safe until next time. But I leave you one song. This is by artist Tullu Tadessa. The music title is Hinbarine. It's not sunrise yet. It's not morning yet. Could be it's not morning yet. Could be we are not free yet. So it's an Oromo music by Tullu Tadessa. Listen to it, enjoy it, please, and until next time, so long, and be safe. Jijjiirama jettu waa tokkoon agarre. Change is not happening. You don't see change. Okay, that's Oromo's music by Tullu Tadessa, Hinbarine. It's not morning yet. It's not freedom yet. When the resistance movement should continue, you know. That's the message over there. Thank you for listening again, and see you next time. So long.